Welcome to week 2 of the Bird's Eye View Sports Edition. And it was a very interesting week 2, upset Saturday, I guess we can call it. Usually there's, like one big one. I'm not sure if this is it or not, but there was definitely some big time upsets. I think that has more to do with being early season rankings than a lot of things. But yeah, so let's take a look. So let's see. We got Appalachian State, who lost to North Carolina last week, goes into Texas A&M and beats Texas A&M at home. And I think you can say goodbye to the rankings for Texas A&M. I don't see how they can be ranked after that kind of a loss. But I don't know. We'll see. And then the second team in the top 10 to lose was 0-2 now Notre Dame, who is somehow still number 8. They certainly probably... The only reason they would still be ranked at the end of this is because they're Notre Dame, but no other reason. But it's an inexplicable loss for you at home against a team... Don't get me wrong, Marshall's good, and Marshall controlled this entire game. They led this entire game, and they were pretty much in control this entire game. Notre Dame never really threatened winning this game, and kind of and kind of till the end. The whole first half was Marshall. The whole third quarter was Marshall, and it wasn't until the fourth quarter that Notre Dame decided to even play. By then it was too late. Marshall ends up with the victory at Notre Dame. And I fully expect 0-2 Notre Dame to not be ranked this week. So the third team that lost in the top 10 was Baylor. They lost to a very good BYU team. Don't get that wrong. BYU, was ranked 21, and Baylor was ranked number 9. And like I said, these are early rankings, so we'll see. I fully expect BYU to be probably number 12 this week before they come to play Oregon. But that'll be a very, very, very tough game for Oregon. A very good test to see if Oregon got anything fixed. So with that, we're going to go over, and because this is what we're here to talk about, is Oregon played Eastern Washington. And Eastern Washington is historically a very, very good subdivision team. They're always in the playoffs. I think they were runner-up last year. But in reality, they shouldn't compete with Oregon, and that's kind of what happened is they didn't. So... Ty Thompson got his chance to play. Jay Butterfield got a couple of snaps. He got to throw one time, which I kind of wish they would let him throw downfield a little bit, because I think out of the 3, he has probably the best arm. But so I want to talk about this just a little bit. But if you think Dan Lanning fixed some of the things that the Ducks didn't do last Saturday, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. But so Ty Thompson and Jay Butterfield got to play. That was an important part as part of their development, because as we saw with UCLA, they lost their quarterback and their backup had to come in and finish that game. So it can always happen. Now, Bo Nix probably had his best game of his career. I don't think he's ever thrown 5 touchdowns in any game that he's ever played. I believe this is the first time. There was still 2 or 3 throws that he threw that were very, very questionable, that probably shouldn't have been thrown. One of those hits the defender in the face, bounces up, and I forgot who it was. It was Terrence Ferguson, gets the deflection and takes that ball and takes it for a touchdown. But there was a couple other passes that were were a little questionable. Overall, though, he managed the game well. He made a couple of check down passes that were very, very intelligent check down passes. I was impressed with that aspect of him. Um, so was Georgia just too big of a first game for him and he'll be just fine? I don't know. Eastern Washington isn't the same caliber of team that will be playing here even next week. So I think next week will be his true test. I don't want to anoint him as here, but he managed this game very well. Only made a couple mistakes that I saw, like I said, on 2 or 3 passes where he threw it into a defender. Overall, though, I thought he played extremely well against this opponent, which is what he was supposed to do. Let's not get that wrong. But now that you got to see Ty Thompson play, you can see the arm strength difference between Bo Nix and Ty Thompson. When Bo Nix throws that ball, he has to step into that ball, and for the most part, the ball gets there. But when Ty Thompson throws that ball, whether he steps into it or not, he can throw that sideline to sideline on a rope, and it gets there in a hurry. And I thought he looked very good. Like I said, this was still cleanup time. I'm not saying Ty Thompson should be the starter. I'm just saying this is what Dan Lanning needs to do is get Ty Thompson on the field and let him get some in-game reps. Because if Bo Nix goes down, we're going to need Ty Thompson to step up and have that ability to manage a game. Now, Bo Nix did very well, like I said. He looked every much of a starter at anywhere else, right? Like, so he managed this game well. Like I said, he didn't, even though he threw a couple of bad passes into coverage, they weren't picked off, or he threw it hard enough the guy couldn't hang on to it. However, the level of competition ramps back up next week. So this is going to be Bo Nix's next test, right? Dan Lanning fixed a lot of the stuff that needed to be fixed. I think on the game, there was a stat that Oregon had 29 missed tackles last week. And today, or yesterday during that game, in the first half, they had 2. And I think by the end of the game, they had a total of 5 missed tackles all game instead of 29. And yards after contact was like 375, I think, for Georgia. And yesterday, I think it was under 20. So that's a big fix for Oregon is the tackling. They worked on it. They obviously worked on it. And from all the newspaper reports and everything, it was a very physical week of practice. And they did. They fixed that kind of stuff. The second part that they fixed was finishing plays. I can't even count how many of the touchdowns that they had that were after contact. And those were impressive. They just physically, outgunned Eastern Washington, which is what they should have done. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're on the same physical aspects of like Georgia, but if you look at those 2 games, Oregon to Georgia versus Eastern Washington to Georgia, that's what that level looked like difference, right? Is because when we were watching this Eastern Washington game, we looked like Georgia against Oregon. And then when Oregon played Georgia, they just completely outplayed in every aspect of that game. They broke tackles, they made tackles, they made plays, and they finished drives and they finished plays. And that's what Oregon did yesterday, which is what they were supposed to do. And now that they got a feel of what they're supposed to do, so they've seen where they want to go to Georgia. They came against Eastern Washington and they fixed those things to get on that feel-good track, to get to where this is the direction they want to head. And now BYU comes into town next Saturday at Oregon, and we'll see. We'll see if Oregon can maintain that aspect of tackling and finishing plays because they're going to have to play a very, very good game to beat BYU. BYU is not scared of Oregon. BYU has a very, very good passing game, which is probably Oregon's weakest defensive link. They have a lot of young guys back there. And and you saw Eastern Washington distribute that ball enough to where there was a couple of missed catches that could have turned into touchdowns for Eastern Washington. And there was the 2 touchdowns from Eastern Washington that were set up either by pass plays or were pass plays to get into the end zone. Those are things that Oregon's going to have to correct because BYU will throw that ball all over the field and test your secondary all over. Oregon's going to have to get pressure on that team, and Oregon's going to have to maintain discipline in the secondary and not let guys behind them. But as for this game, I'm very impressed with the Oregon running backs. I thought out of the running backs that I saw, Noah Whittington is super physical, not afraid of contact, and he will. I know he had 8 carries and 29 yards, but those were a big 8 carries and 29 yards up the middle of that defense when they were expecting it. And I like the way he runs. I like his quickness going through the hole. He makes that decision, and he has gone through the hole. I like that a lot. Marquise Irving, that guy just looks super fast when he gets that ball and he gets to that hole. He just looks like he's already full speed and gone. I really like how he runs. He had 8 carries for 74 yards. I was very impressed with that. Sean Dollars looked very good also. I like his physicality. I like his speed. I thought the running backs looked really good. I thought they played really well. I thought the offensive line opened up holes for them to go through. So I'm very excited. I would like to see that rushing game condensed a little bit into probably not 5 or 6 guys, but more like 2 or 3 guys. I don't know. You keep those fresh legs in, rotate a new running back every so often, just keep them going and going. I don't know. That may be Dan Lanny's plan, but I would like to see guys, once they get on a roll, just stay on a roll. But I saw a couple of those guys limping off the field. I hope none of them are like really hurt. I hope it's just a couple dings and bruises. I know that Noah Whittington was having his right knee looked at on the side of the field. I don't remember if I saw him after that. I don't think we did. So hopefully that's just a little bruise and he'll be back just fine. But overall, I give the running back group an A+ for their performance. The receivers, man, those guys. I mean, just look at this. Look at how many they had. 34 receptions. And how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 guys made catches. That's impressive. 14 guys made catches. And only one of those guys made 2 touchdowns. And that was Terrence Ferguson. And he made those touchdowns. Those weren't touchdown passes. Those were catches that Terrence Ferguson made into touchdowns. He made those into touchdowns. A fantastic performance. I'm really glad to see also Cam Newton as a tight end get a touchdown in there. I know that's a long Cam McCormick, right? That's a long time coming. That guy's been around for I think this is his 6th year, and his injuries for the last 3 years. I'm really glad to see him get on the field, get 2 catches and a touchdown. That was really awesome to watch. But man, those receivers, they were catching that ball and they were getting downfield. They had significant catches. And the yards after contact, that was big for those guys. That was really big for those guys and big for Oregon. We'll see if they can continue that next week. So I don't remember the Chris Bridges fumble because I thought he got... So, okay, so I think this was on... So I think like he got the interception and then got hit and fumbled the ball, right? But we still got it. I think that's what that was. Now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, I can't remember that. I'm pretty sure that he got an interception and then fumbled that ball, though, if I remember right. Overall, I thought the defense did way better, especially in the tackling department. They were in position. There's just a couple things on the secondary stuff where there's holes open in the middle. And don't get me wrong, Eastern Washington quarterback made great throws when those guys were open, and he made Oregon pay for it. And that gives me a little worry for BYU because they are just going to throw that ball over the place. But overall, Oregon gets their feel-good win. They're back to 500. They extend their home winning streak to 20. And so BYU, that's the next test. And we'll see if Oregon can put it together. Hope to see you there. Much love all. But we are out of here for now.